everyone. Good afternoon. It's me again. It's Jean. This is number three, behind the brush. And as I said in number two and number one, I think, send us questions and we'll answer you. So today is the first question video. This is sent to us by Tim Hartwick. Mr. Hartwick asked us to tell more about the time that Greg spent meeting and painting for Michael Jackson. Great idea. My pleasure. So I pulled out a few things here that represent some different times of Greg's life with Michael. Michael was with him a few times. The first time he was with Michael was at the Helmsley Palace in New York during the Bad Tour. Michael had purchased from me the cover to Greg's Peter Pan book, because as we all know, Michael lived in Neverland Valley. He was a huge Peter Pan fan. And so he wanted Greg to spend some time with him while he was in New York City at the Bad Tour. They got a suite, beautiful suite. Oh my God, it was so gigantic, for Greg to stay in for 10 days at the Helmsley Palace in New York during the tour. Greg painted in the suite during the day. Late afternoon, he watched Michael rehearse to get ready for the show. And in the evenings, he went in the limo with Michael to the show. I don't know, at like 90 miles an hour, scared to death every time they went, and stayed backstage with Michael, watched the show every night from backstage. It was pretty spectacular, actually. So these are pictures of Michael at the Helmsley Palace in New York City. One of the things that Michael wanted was he wanted an art gallery show just for him. And so they sent a armed car, whatever you call those things, and I sent them 100 paintings to set up inside the suite, okay, in this armored car. And we had paintings everywhere. We had them all over the room. They were on couches, they were on tables, they were on chairs. The other thing he wanted was lessons from Greg, sketching lessons from Greg, which was kind of interesting because Michael was already a very good artist, and most people did not know that. He could draw incredibly well. So this is a picture of Michael and Bubbles, both drawing. Bubbles also drew not so good, but he also drew. Okay. Michael reading the From Tolkien to Oz book that Greg brought him as a gift. Bubbles trying to figure out if he was going to get a drink, but he wasn't. Greg, Bubbles, Michael. Greg was terrified in this shop, just in case anybody's interested. He had absolutely total fear of Bubbles. And so when he finally got back to New Jersey after the trip, he told me, "Oh my dear God, I was holding this monkey and I was scared to death." Okay, and this is Michael drawing Peter Pan at the show. In those days, as you can see, Greg was pretty straight. He was a pretty straight guy. And so he was also a pretty skinny guy. This is before we found out and he found out that he had celiac disease. And so as soon as he found that out, he stopped eating wheat, oats, barley, and rye and turned into a guy and had big shoulders, and he was in great shape. The next time he saw Michael was when he went to Neverland Valley. He went to Neverland. He was there for almost 11 days, if I remember. He was drawing and sketching with Michael. He was going in carts, those, I don't know, golf carts, I guess is what you call them. And Michael was just building his zoo. He had built his entertainment center. He had the stage. He was practicing every day. Greg got to watch him practice, which, as he said, was amazing. I was out there for a couple of days. Michael had a magnificent library, absolutely magnificent, and probably the most beautiful baby grand piano I have ever seen in my life, ever. And so Greg stayed with him. He was getting ready to leave, come back to New Jersey. He'd been there about 9 days, and Michael said, no, you can't go. You can't go. Greg said, I got a ticket, I'm going. He said, no, Marlon Brando's coming to meet you. Now, a lot of you may not know who Marlon Brando is, but for Greg, this was like a highlight in his life because he adored Marlon Brando as an actor. And Marlon came, and we again had shipped about 125 paintings out to Neverland Valley, which Greg and Michael discussed every single day that he was out there. Technique, brush strokes, color, blending, light, composition, design, anatomy. And so they took all these paintings, they put them in one room, and Michael and Marlon Brando walked around. Brando didn't say a word until the end of this whole tour, which took about 2 hours for him to absorb. And he turned to Greg and he said, oh my God, you certainly see the world through the eyes of a child. And that made Greg very, very happy. And then he left, and then Greg left and came home with a big smile on his face, and they shipped the art back. The next time we dealt with Michael, Michael was in the process of writing and getting ready to produce, I do believe produce, a movie that was called Adam at Midnight. And he was writing with dear friends of ours, Lee Cohen and Lois Sarkeesian in California. And they asked Greg to design a costume for Michael, which is this. This is the costume he designed that Michael approved. This is the painting of the final costume that Michael approved. And he was basically the Peter Pan character because Michael never wanted to grow up. And it was kind of interesting. He also wanted Greg to paint him as Peter Pan. So this is a sketch that Greg did, a final sketch that Greg did for Michael. He was getting ready to paint this when, as we all know, all hell broke loose on the planet, and Michael was, I don't think indicted is the right word, but accused of pedophilia. I saw nothing when I was there. Greg was there, as I said, with Michael twice. He saw nothing. What we did see, and this is just our opinion, mine and my husband's, because he and I discussed this many, many, many times. Michael was a lovely man. He was a brilliant entertainer. He was an incredible artist and a very sweet person who appeared to be scared to death his whole life. He hid behind columns. He didn't like lots of people in a room with him. And he just kept dancing. And he brought a lot of joy into this world. So it was Greg's honor to spend time with him. It was my honor to meet him. And I hope I have answered Tim's question. Thank you.